Hi, I'm Rob May, I'm MD of Ramsack, and welcome to Cyber Chat. So why does cybersecurity matter? I think the thing that people need to be aware of is that as of May 25th, 2018, the law changed and GDPR became the new way in which we operate. And a big part of GDPR is cybersecurity. And lots of businesses have missed that. Lots of businesses are focusing on the marketing side of it and the rights to hold people's data. But most businesses will be more impacted by cybersecurity under GDPR than they will by the mishandling of the right to be forgotten, for example. So what's happened since GDPR started? I think it's interesting to point out that in the build-up to GDPR, the poster child for data breaches was TalkTalk. And people talked about the fact that TalkTalk had received the largest fine ever, so the Data Protection Act, the maximum fine was £500,000, TalkTalk were fined £400,000. But not only that, their CEO, Dino Harding, she lost her job. But the point was made that, the fine under GDPR was going to be much, much greater than that at 4% of global turnover. But not only that, Dino Harding might not just have lost her job, she might have gone to prison. Now, in the first sort of 6 months post GDPR, there were 70 prosecutions. Most of those prosecutions are still under the Data Protection Act. The very first one was the Bible Society, and a few people raised their eyebrows at that. So the Bible Society, they got fined because they had a data breach. Now, their data breach wasn't an attack, it was a lost device. It was a member of staff who lost their device, and that device had data on it. That triggered an audit from the ICO, and it was found that their database had default username and default password on it, and they got a fine of £100,000. Since then, we've had National Association of Head Teachers. That was an interesting one. So their fine was because somebody in the marketing team sent out an email and they put the entire distribution list in the CC field. Now, we've all received those emails, but somebody complained to the ICO that their email had been distributed, and they received a fine of £50,000. So these are really simple things that we can do. But do people in your team, do people in your business understand that this is an issue? Uber have received a huge fine, so they were fined £900,000, again still under the Data Protection Act. Of that 900, 385 of it came from the ICO in the UK, the rest came from Denmark. But the ICO made the point that had this fine happened under GDPR, the fine could have been £17 million. That's huge. The biggest one, though, that we're all waiting on is British Airways, because the British Airways breach most definitely happened under the realm of the new GDPR law. And this was a huge cyber attack. It's believed to be the same team who did the Ticketmaster breach, but it was a 15-day hack. 380,000 people had their card details stolen. There were 3 days of cancelled flights, and it was huge. I think the thing to be aware of is that in 2017, British Airways turnover was £12.2 billion. 4% of £12.2 billion is circa £500 million. So a lot of the red top newspapers sort of came out and said British Airways to face £500 million fine. I don't believe that will be the case. On the face of it, British Airways have responded appropriately. They came out immediately. The CEO has made statements and so on. The only thing I've not seen comment on in any of the press coverage is DPIAs. So under GDPR, you have a requirement to do a data protection impact assessment, DPIA. And a DPIA is looking at what could go wrong, what would be the impact on client data, and what are we doing to mitigate that. Now, all of the things that you do to mitigate a breach also mitigates your potential fine. So whilst on the face of it, what British Airways have done all looks to be good, the only thing I'm unaware of to date is DPIA. So all that to say, the reason, one of the reasons that cyber is so important to you is that the cost of non-compliance is just massive compared to the cost of compliance. So you need to take it seriously. I hope that's useful, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.